Good afternoon, and thank you for attending today's webinar introducing you to SMARTGov's free trial program. My name is Jeff Pavey, and I'm a business development specialist here at Paladin Data System. Also on today's webinar, you will hear from my colleagues, John Bird, and an actual SMARTGov user from the city of Maplewood, Missouri, Tiffany Davis. Just to kind of lay out the framework for today's webinar, it's going to be pretty quick. We're going to try to get you out of here in 30 minutes. Depending on the flow and on Q&A, it might go over a little bit. If it goes longer and you have to get off, we are recording today's webinar, and we'll follow up with an email and send you the link so you can access all the information that we're sharing today at your own, and you can share it with clients and others. A little bit about the mechanics of the GoToMeeting. You should all be seeing the webinar basics agenda right now. And in the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you should see a little box to enter questions. Couple times during our webinar today, we'll collect those questions, and we'll be sure to get your answers. If we get a lot of questions, so the webinar doesn't go over too long, we might follow up with those answers on email. And then if you have any follow-up questions, you're free to email us at any time. We'd love to talk to you or answer any questions you might have. So let me go over the agenda, what to expect over the next 30 minutes. It's going to be very, very simple and quick. We're going to kind of just describe to you what our free trial program is, why we did it, how it works. Then John is going to take a few minutes to show you a little bit about the system and show you about the navigation and talk to you a little bit more about the free trial program. We're going to follow up after the trial program discussion, and we're going to let Tiffany, who is from the city of Maplewood, Missouri, we're going to have her spend some time and tell you about her experience using and working with SMARTGov.
Thanks, Jeff. And so just to kind of clarify a little bit on what SMARTGov is for those of you that are new to what SMARTGov is, and you probably have made some assumptions, but just to make sure, SMARTGov is an automation tool for managing any kind of a permit or a project that you're working on, a planning project that might include inspections. This also would include the idea of code enforcement, if you're doing any kind of code enforcement. Business licensing is also a part of SMARTGov. And SMARTGov is hosted in the cloud. We can deploy it on site, but what we're showing to you today is a cloud-hosted application. It's absolutely full-featured. We don't defeature it at all for in the cloud. We have large jurisdictions that are using SMARTGov in the cloud, small jurisdictions and medium jurisdictions. So it's a cloud-based solution for you to manage all of those, land issues, permits, and so on. The other thing that I will say is if you would stick around through the 30-minute session if you can, because we do have a very special offer that's going to save you some money, especially in your first year, if you were to come on to SMARTGov for a full year. So stick around for that if you can. And Jeff, I'm going to move you over to this email here.
Okay.
Let you talk to that.
Great. Thanks, John. So I want to take just a minute to tell you why we offer the free trial program and tell you how it works. We initially launched our free trial program as a way to really minimize the risk around the decision for a jurisdiction to invest in new software. We're confident that you like the software, but we want to do everything we can to be sure that it's a good fit for you and your organization, and our trial program is one of the ways that we do that. The trial program itself is designed to be simple and intuitive, and all we ask from you is that you take some time to log into SMARTGov, to experiment with the different tools and the functionality, and to provide us some feedback. We'll start off the trial program after you've signed up. We'll start off with a quick 30-minute quick start meeting, and we'll send you this email that you're looking at that provides you all the information and resources you'll need for the trial. During the quick start, we'll show you how to log in. We'll show you some basic navigation, how to access some different resources. After the quick start meeting, we like to schedule a once weekly check-in. That's really just an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you might have or that might have arisen as you played with SMARTGov. In addition, you can call or email anytime. John and I are resources throughout this, and that's our contact information right there. But we just want to really open the door for you to ask those questions. It's important for us to be sure that you get all your questions answered. And then at the end, there's no obligation at the end of the 30-day trial. We'll want your feedback. We want to hear all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and answer any follow-up questions and see if there are follow-up steps, or if you might want to explore a little bit more what it might be like to proceed with SMARTGov as a tool for your organization.
Yeah, so with that, and what I want to do now is just take a few minutes to give you kind of what a quick start session will look like and feel like. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take you to this actual email that you're going to have. And one of the neat things about a GoToMeeting function like we're using today is I can actually share my controls or my mouse with you on the other end. So what I'll actually do is have you control the mouse using my screen right here, and I'm going to have you launch the SMARTGov with this little button right here. Notice before we launch this is that we do build in some login account information for you, like demo user 1, demo user 2, demo user 3. So you can have multiple people in your organization that are using this trial. And then here's your password, SMARTGov99. So I'm going to have you click on this and launch the application. So let's do that. Once you launch, this is a browser here. This is the SMARTGov application, and then I'm going to have you plug in that login name and password, and then I'm going to have you click the sign in button. So again, I'm just going to be coaching you through. You're going to have controls of the mouse, and you're going to be the one driving this here. And then you're going to see, very similar to this screen right here, you're going to see some widgets up at the top here with some charts and graphs. You can click on these. Simple menu off to the left. And then here's my work area with applications, which are permits and projects and so on. What I'll do with you at this point is I just want you to be familiar with the anatomy of the software, okay? So this is just super high level. And so I'm going to take you through some of the basic things. One of the things I'm going to have you do is open up this favorites area. And this favorites area, when you click on that, you're going to see a series of very basic videos. You can launch these at any time. And it's just as simple as clicking on one of these. It's going to open up a new window. And we're housing these on our website, so it just takes you to a page on our website. But this video here, now you can launch this at any time and take a look. These videos are usually anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes tops. And so again, it's just a resource for you, and I want you to be aware that this is here, so that as you're experimenting and trying to learn and getting your feet wet, you can always fall back on this and kind of learn a few things. The other thing I will do is I'll take you over into this preferences area at the upper right hand, and we'll have you click this open. From here I'm going to show you just a few basic things. This customize home area, this enables you to move various widgets up and down on your screen, or turn them on or turn them off. And so I'll just point those things out to you so that you kind of know what's there. The other thing that I'll take you to as we're refreshing our screen, in this preferences area is what we call event subscription. And an event are various things that take place within the life cycle of a permit or a project. And based on these discrete moments in time, you can receive an email from the system if you like. So I'll just kind of introduce you to this screen as well. For example, notify me when a new task is added to my queue. So I could check the box, and now I'm going to get an email right to wherever email I want to use. The system will send me an email anytime this happens. So again, just some of the basic anatomy of the system will kind of point you to so that you've seen it once. Now, of course, what's going to happen, you're going to forget about a lot of these things, but that's okay. You've seen it once, and then as you come across some of the videos, you'll see it again, and you'll start to get a little more familiar with it. The other thing that I'll do is we do have a video specifically on list searching. And that's right here, the third video. And what that means is how to deal within a list. This particular group of permits, I have over 11,000 permits. That's a lot of permits. And we give you a series of tools here And we're going to show you how to work with this large list of 11,000 so that you can quickly, within just a matter of a few seconds, filter it down to a small group or even a single record, okay? I'll show you that in the quick start, how to use these tools, but in addition, there is this video here which will remind you, so that's available to you as well. So we'll walk through each of those things in basics right there.
Great, thanks, John. I did have a question. Is there any other help resources that are on here besides those videos?
Yeah, well, that's a great question there, Jeff. This here is a context-sensitive help document right here. Context-sensitive means, for example, let's actually open up a single-family residential permit and maybe even go to the valuations tab of that. Now, when I launch this help document right here, notice that it is on the valuations tab, exactly where we were. Now, it's fully indexed. You can search this as well. So there's a ton of information here. We even have a few videos embedded throughout this as well. So that's a great question there. That's all available to you as you're kind of learning the system. Another thing I will point out is this version update. As we're making enhancements and updates to the system, you can launch this at any time, which will show you new features that have been added, and you can scroll through, and it really shows you clearly what changes you can expect so that you can know enhancements that have been made. Great question there, Jeff. Thank you. With this, let's just do one more item on this front page. And that is the built-in mapping. I can take a group of permits and just send those right to a map. And so I want you to know, again, as far as the anatomy of the system goes, I want you to know that there is some mapping that comes right with the system. And you can see how I've got all these permits represented as a point on a map, various layers that you can use, and if you have access to even a parcel layer, you can see how that works here as well. And so again, it's not an all-encompassing training session, but I do want you just to see that the ability to pull up some geospatial information via GIS components is available. Even doing a proximity search around a specific parcel, and this is going to show me all the property owners that fall within a certain radius. Again, just some of the anatomy, what's here, how you access it, and that type of thing. The other thing I will mention is this administrative area, tons of features for you to be able to change your own configuration and administer the system as you need to. Now, with that, let's come back to this email, because again, during this quick start session, I'm going to have you now click on the public portal. Public portal is an extension of your front counter. Basically, anything that someone can do at the front counter can also be done online. So I'll take you to this and want you to see that there's the ability for, let's go to an advanced search. This is for your citizens at large or your contractors, where they can come in, just look at public record information. Like, for example, maybe show me all the commercial new permits in a certain status or on a certain date, or just hit search. And you're going to see I've found a number of permits here, and I can even map those from the public portal, again, as a citizen, just to see the geospatial context of these here as well. So the same mapping, whoops, I zoomed in too much here. The same mapping that's available to you on the back office is also available to the public at large, and they can click on this and take a look. So what we'll do during this quick session as well is we're going to set you up with a login account right here. Have you create an account as though you're a contractor, okay? The idea is so that you can kind of experience the public portal from the perspective of a contractor and be able to see that. So all of that we will set up with you during the quick start session. So there's a lot of stuff there. Jeff, I think I'm going to hold off on that point, but just to kind of let people know that's what we're going to do during that.
Okay, thanks, John. I did have, maybe we'll take just a minute now and go over some questions. I've got several questions that came in, a couple around data. So for the pilot, what kind of data are you using? Is this
Yeah.
Do you upload data? How does that work for the pilot?
Okay, so that's a really good question. We're going to populate the trial with just some demo data that we have available, and actually comes from a jurisdiction north of Seattle. They're a customer of ours, and we have an agreement with them to use pieces of their data. So we're going to populate this with just some test data, demo data. Now, in addition to that, I will say we do have a number, and I think some people on the line today as well, we have a number of customers that are using a legacy system called Black Bear PT Win. Now, Black Bear went out of business a few years ago, and we've developed a migration script to handle all of the PT Win data. And so with that, if you are using PT Win, we can actually configure this trial instance of SMARTGov with your PT Win data in it. And now you're going to find that under this favorites area. This is where you have the videos, but at the very top you're going to have a link that's going to launch a second instance of SMARTGov with all of your PT Win data in it. So all you need to do is click right there, and then you're going to see your own data right here. So that's a really powerful way to try out a piece of software for absolutely free, no commitment to you, and your own PT Win data is loaded in there. Now, if you're using something other than PT Win, then we're not going to load your data for the trial itself, because that can be costly, but we will let you take a look with this demo data, and that's a pretty good start, Jeff. I mean, for people to kind of get the feel of the system.
Great. Well, thanks, John. I have a couple more questions here, but I thought maybe we'd just for the sake of time, kind of move on, and we'll answer some of those at the end.
I think that's great. So with that, let me make sure that we have Tiffany loaded up here. Tiffany, can you hear me? Well, so Tiffany, thank you for being on. Now that we got the technology out of the way, appreciate it very much. Now, you folks there, you're in Maplewood, Missouri. You've been a great customer of ours, and so I know that you and I have talked about all the various things that you do. There's a number of things that you do there at the city using SMARTGov, but I think you primarily do a lot of rental inspections and even some occupancy permitting and things like that.
Yes.
Why don't you show us a little bit of what a typical thing is that you do?
Okay.
And just kind of talk us through.
Okay. Well, recently, we do a lot of occupancy permits and rental inspections, as you just said. So I can show you a recent occupancy permit that I just did yesterday.
Okay.
And it's really quite simple. I mean, the tabs across the top took a little getting used to, but I think the more that you do it, the quicker the process is. So, anywho, when you open it up, we go to the Details tab, and that's where you would put all the occupants, their names, date of birth, driver's license, any spouses, children, things of that nature, and you can save it at the bottom. Another thing that I really like is that we have the Submittals tab. With every occupancy permit that we take, we are supposed to have a fully completed application and a photo ID. So to actually have the ladies click that they actually receive those items. So that's like another check and balance. In addition to that, any property needs to have an approved inspection. So they also have to come to this screen and actually change it to say that they actually looked and the inspection has been approved. So
now, is that your inspector that's going in and doing that?
No, this is the ladies across the hall.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, you know, they take the application, and they are usually the ones that would issue it. And the only other thing in here that we do, you can take the fees, and it's real simple to create a receipt right in here. And as you can see, it already populates the person's name. You can pick whatever you like. We do take online payments, and if that's the case, we can select online here. And then we go to the main tab, and we change it to issued, and we save it. But then when you do all that, you get this report, which is actually the occupancy permit. And we will print that out and give it to the tenant. And another thing that I recently started doing is actually taking the actual application and the ID and attaching it to the actual record. So as you can see, that's what we have.
Now this is, you called me the other day and you asked if you can attach anything here and it's
Yes.
going to be safe.
Yes, and that's what this is. So this one was done online. So I printed all of the online information, and there you can see a copy of the driver's license.
All right. Okay.
So that's one
Excellent.
of the
Now,
things that we do.
well, one thing you showed earlier, the list of details where you fill in all of the occupants by name. Those details, now you folks configured those custom to what you're doing there. Yeah, all that right there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So I just want to make a point. SMARTGov is really designed for you to be able to configure various things as you need. Every single thing you're seeing here on the screen that Tiffany's showing was configured right there by Maplewood. So keep that in mind.
Okay, and then if we just wanted to take a look at an inspection, I thought it'd be more interesting to look at one that has failed. So we can go into it, and if we just click on this area, this is what we'll see. But if we can actually click on that to get an entire report of what failed. That's a really nice feature. And it prints. It'll tell you like a general of what the issue is, and then you can get more specific. So
yeah,
this is what we will mail out after you've had an inspection that has failed. And another thing is it's really simple to schedule these inspections. You just go and change the scheduled date and time at the bottom here and just save it. So it's really, really nice. And again, when we do these, you're supposed to have a housing inspection form, the actual application, a tenant list to let us know who's in what apartment, and a photo ID for the responsible party. And again, you have to click that you actually receive those items.
Great. And now again, you have configured which submittal items are required. I mean, that's not something that we forced onto you. Those are your actual, that's your best practices right there.
Yes, that's the way we do things, and you somehow figured it out how to put it in the system for us.
That's good. One of the things, Tiffany, that you mentioned to me, if you don't mind speaking to this, is that prior to using SMARTGov, a lot of reports that you were sending out took you multiple days to get them, get them all set up, get them printed, get them mailed, and describe that versus how it is for you today.
Okay, well, we are a little strange, I guess, as a city. We require annual inspections for rental properties. So as you can imagine, that necessitates us sending out a lot of letters, monthly letters to remind people that they need to have their inspections done. So before, I would have sometimes 600-700 letters that would print out, and I would go through those letters to see which ones actually needed to be mailed out and which ones didn't, which could take several days, if not a full week.
Wow.
Now I don't have to do so much of that. On the second of the month, I have a nice little report, as you can see, that generates for me automatically. And I can open it up. I'm trying to open it here. It's downloading. Might take a couple seconds. But it comes out as a PDF report, and I can actually just go through and print the ones that I want to mail. So it's much quicker than what I had before.
Yeah, so what just so everyone understands what the system is doing here, it's much like a mail merge function in Microsoft Word. So what it's doing, there it is. It's pulling various attributes from all of the rental inspection accounts that Tiffany's dealing with, and it's merging in the tenant's name, I'm assuming probably the address as well, it looks like.
Yes.
And various things into each letter, so that all Tiffany has to do is run this report and it's ready to go.
Yes, it's really nice because you can set it to go to an owner or an agent. It will send to whoever you have listed on the contact tab, and it has the address for the property so that they'll know which property in case they own more than one. And it actually tells them when their current inspection will expire. And then it tells them what they need to do, to get this taken care of. And then it also has a reference number here. So if they call you and they say, I'm calling about RI-whatever number, you can go and look it up just by this number or the property address, whichever you prefer.
No, that's great. Another thing, Tiffany, you mentioned to me is the ability to get reminders from SMARTGov, and so that things don't fall through the cracks in various things that you need to do. Um, are these letters kind of those reminders, or are you referring to something different?
The letters are, like, let's say, for instance, that I send this letter out on April 2nd. If this person does not come and get, pay for the inspection and get the inspection, another letter will come up for me when I go to print my May letters. And then that lets me know that, this didn't get taken care of in the last 30 days. Is it time to issue a court citation? Is it time to do another step? And the other system, it would click out one letter, and then it was kind of up to you to, like, remember to go back and look at these things, but this is like a monthly reminder of me to do something. So I like that. And then there's notes on screens, which is another great thing. I can put myself a note, like if a house is under renovation, I can put a note so that I know that I don't have to send out that letter. I can see that the home is being rehabbed or something of that nature. So that's another good feature.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. You're obviously a great power user on the system. We could probably spend easily another 15 minutes just having you share stuff. But Jeff, maybe do we have some questions we should get through? Or?
Yeah, we've got several questions piling up, John. One of the questions I'll ask first, it has to do with the data again. And the question is, do we load our own data as part of the trial? We talked about the PT win, and we talked about the kind of our data.
Yeah. Yeah, so, good question there, because oftentimes there's a legacy system with previous data that you're going to want loaded into a new system like SMARTGov, and that's absolutely a service that we can provide. That's an iterative process where we map your old data to all the equivalent data fields in SMARTGov, and we load that all in, and we have you look at it and see, if there are some tweaks that need to be made. So that we can look at your data at some point. If you want to send us your data to our FTP site, we can take a look, determine the relative complexity, and we can send you pricing on that. So that's absolutely an option for folks that have legacy data.
The other thing that I'll point out is because you have a full-featured instance of SMARTGov, if you want to enter 1, 2, 10 permits on your own, just manually, you're able to do that. To enter lots of data, we'd have to do a custom script, but through the course of the demo, you can add as much data as you want.
That's right. Yep.
Another question, John, that I've got that came up is around cost. What does it cost? Do you want to field that?
Yeah. And Tiffany, I just want to say now, thanks again for you being on the line with us. We'll wrap up here in just a moment, but yeah, I'll go back. So costing, I figured that would come up, Jeff. So let's move to this slide. And this is important, and I'll share with you what our offer is as well. Our typical pricing is $1,500 per user per year for just the software itself. Now, that is fully inclusive of the cloud platform. Just so you know, we're using the Amazon Web Services Cloud, which is fantastic. They're absolutely world-class in terms of how broad and capable the Amazon system is, as well as responsive. And by the way, I will say that as a company, Paladin, we work with a number of cloud providers, big tier 1 providers, and hands down our absolute favorite is Amazon for this particular application. So that $1,500 per user per year covers all the cloud aspects of it. It covers, the software itself as well, and then it covers all the support as well. We're open again 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., so you're welcome to call through, and we can support you as best as we can. Now, our minimum package of users is 5 users, and so your total per year is $7,500. And so the offer, though, that we're making right now is that first full year, we're going to discount that to $0. So you're going to get 12 months of the system completely free. And instead, what we realize is to truly be successful, you need some training, you need a little bit of configuration, and those reports that Tiffany was showing are specific to her jurisdiction. You're going to need some help with those being created. So what we want you to do is spend whatever budget you have, on those setup components so that it's really configured for you and you're successful on that. Now, a couple requirements for that. It does need to be a deployment of less than 25 users and without an RFP process. Then we're able to give you that first year at zero cost. And you know, with that, there's so many services. Give a call to Jeff or myself because we'll talk you through, you know, the nuances that are specific to you, to your organization.
Great. With that, I think I'm going to just close it out. We're running just about 10 minutes late. But I wanted to just, first of all, thanks everybody for taking the time today and letting us talk with you about SMARTGov and about our free trial program. As we have already mentioned, the webinar is going to be recorded. If you want to share it with colleagues or want to refer to it later, we'll send you out a link and a follow-up email so you can access that at any time. The other thing is if you are interested and you want to take the next step and you want to begin one of our free trial programs, there's several ways you can do that. Probably the simplest, most expedient way is just to give John or I a call, or you can email us. And again, our contact information will be up on the screen here right there, and we'll leave this up for a few minutes after we get off the phone. And then the last way is our website. If you access our website, there's a button that'll show up that's our free trial button, and you can just sign into that and fill out a little information, and it'll shoot off to us. And then the next step would be for us to contact you to get that quick start set up. So again, just want to say thank you. Thanks to Tiffany and John. Thanks to everybody online. We sure do appreciate you taking the time to spend with us this afternoon.
Thanks very much.